Bam! There it is. Now we're all live. It's Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I did it. I did it. You did it. You know, it's this part right here where I'm just talking to myself, but I appreciate that because we replay all these live all through the week, and people go there and they comment and we talk back and forth. It's really great to go back and look what we talked about on our lives on Wednesdays, and it's really interesting. During the first couple of minutes, I always get my friends in here and my moderators. They start logging in, and they always tell me, hey, I can't hear you, or you're coming in okay. And so I always look forward to knowing if my microphone works. I'm deaf. It says chow pop. Check 1 2 pop 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 pow pop dee dee doo doo doo. I just keep that right there. 1 2. You know what? That's what I should read the Book of Enoch in. No, what we do with it? There. You know what I'm going to get used to doing is sitting back and just talking, because basically I talk to myself on here. Hello from Savannah. Rita, hello. I was born and raised in Savannah, Banana, Georgia. Savannah, Banana, Georgia. I was wearing a Savannah Banana shirt the other day. I love Savannah. Most haunted city in the United States. It is. Founded by Freemasons. Sure was. James Edward Oglethorpe and the dude that owned Wormslow. I'm from Savannah. Oh, hey, Granny, I was born in St. Joseph Hospital, the old one, down there across from Eileen and Forsyth Park. I sure was. They were lining up for the Thanksgiving Day parade, and I was born on a Friday, and they were lining up for a Thanksgiving Day parade. My mama had me. Right after Thanksgiving on Thursday, she didn't know if her stomach was upset or if she was having a baby. I was almost water birth. It was. Same. St. Joseph Hospital. Yeah, that was like the only one there. But if you read the history on that hospital, man, that thing is old as Moses. No pun intended. There is just enough time for a couple of people in here that I'm going to ask this question. How many golden boxes were carried through the Red Sea as they fled the Egyptians, leaving Egypt? How many gold boxes did the Israelis have? Not Israel, yeah, Israelite. One. Travel gal, tell me the name of it. Sand gal, tell me the name of the box. Tell me the name of the box that they had when they went through the Red Sea. How you feeling? I feel fine. 0. Ooh, that's a good answer. But nope. It's not the Ark of the Covenant. What do you mean it's not the Ark of the Covenant? Truthfully, they had a golden box. It was not the Ark of the Covenant. What do you mean? What do you mean? They built the Ark of the Covenant after they got through the Red Sea, and Moses went up the mountain and got the, he got the attitude. He got adjusted. And then he came back down, and then they built the Ark out of Shittim wood, and plated it with gold. I found out a couple of weeks ago that the Egyptians had a box similar to the Ark of the Covenant. Ting dong, the witch is there. I think so too. I think you are correct. Let's see. The box that the Egyptians had was a. Go right here. Boom. No. Bam. It was called an Aaron. The Ark of the Covenant and Joseph's coffin were called an Aaron. My son's name's Aaron, not like that. And Aaron is Aaron, Moses' brother. But the coffin or the box that they put that stuff in, that is called an Aron. So this is Tutankhamun's. This is wood plated with gold, and just I find it odd that they had to take Poopy Pants. They had to take his bones out of Egypt, and I got a hat. I got the hat. I got the hat. And when they left out of Egypt, they had to take Billy Bob's bones, and they said, "Get the bones for Billy." And they're like, "He's not Billy, man. The dude was a pharaoh." Really? Yeah. So he's got this like really cool thing. He's really cool. We're not even cool enough to touch it. Gonna have to use some stakes and little boxes and all that stuff. You mean that's how pharaohs traveled whenever they were dead? They were in a box. Like the Ark of the Covenant, called the same thing as the Ark of the Covenant, called an Aron. And both the verbiage for that and the Ark of the Covenant, Joseph's coffin and the Ark of the Covenant, both the verbiage for that is the same word. So as they were going through the Red Sea, the only box that they had was the bones of Joseph. And then when they got through the Red Sea, they built, they went up, Moses went up the mountain, and then they came back down, and they built the Ark of the Covenant. And then they carried that around. And that. So for 40 years, they carried 2 golden boxes. The Ark of the Covenant. Hey, good evening. Hey, High Country John. For 40 years, they carried the bones of Joseph in a coffin after they got through the Red Sea. Then they made the Ark of the Covenant, and then they got in trouble, for just not doing the right thing. I guess they were still sort of like dancing around Joseph's thing a little too much. And then they had to carry both those boxes through the desert for 40 years. So they literally walked around with 2 boxes for 40 years in the desert. Till they got into the promised land. La, 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 la. So, now what's the answer? How many golden boxes left Egypt and went through the Red Sea? No, 1. 1 went through the Red Sea, the bones of Joseph. The bones of Joseph. When they got on the other side of the Red Sea, then Moses went up the mountain and got the directions from God and came back down and built the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant. And then they had 2 boxes. They were already through the Red Sea. They were 1. Yeah. Those are the things, though. These are the things that we want to talk about. And there's no, if you get the answer wrong, it's not, oh my gosh, I learned that from my teacher. I love him to death too, man, that taught me my general contracting, my credit hour course. You take the test, and at the end of the class, he would go over the answers that you missed, and he would review them with you, and then tell you what the right answer was, and then you knew the right answer. So not only did you get the things you got right, the things you got wrong, he reviewed with you, gave you the right answer, and then you knew the right answer to it. And I just thought that's the best way to learn, not, hey, let me, just beat somebody up. But, hey.
It says, please reveal our community gifts. You can find it by tapping live gifts.
Gift goal.
No, I don't think that's the community
Now you got to
gift.
touch that. Set a new goal. Edit. Customer. That way you don't gotta.
No, that's not the community gift. I think that's something different.
I don't know how to
I
do
don't know.
community gift.
Help me achieve my first. No.
Help me achieve my first goal, and I'll sing a song. Okay. You know what? Y'all hit that, and oh my gosh, they will hit it too. What could I sing? Oh crap, they're at 100. Oh man, I'm gonna have to sing already. They're halfway there.
What are you going to sing? You got to sing a Christian song.
Oh, I feel too much pressure. Oh my gosh. You help me?
You should have no problem seeing our pinned comments, sir.
Singing what?
Seeing the pinned comments. It should be easy.
I know. Well, I mean,
You don't see
yeah.
them.
Well, you're reading them. You should be looking at the picture and talking to the people and having this random conversation with nobody other than your cell phone. Just sitting there going, hey, why didn't you just stop in the middle of the conversation with yourself and focus on the thing?
JoJo says a soul.
282.
Oh, you can sing Jesus Loves Me.
I know this song.
I can only imagine.
No, I cry every time I sing that because not Jesus loves me.
I still want to find this.
No, I can only imagine. I would ruin that. I can only imagine how bad that would be. See, you just get lost. Brandon Lake. La, la, la. I'm like any of those things that you could add the word hamburger helper to. that would be my rap name. Gillard Butler. You got this. You got this. Oh, did we hit it already? Left it in the river.
I don't see it anymore.
Did we hit it already, Joe? Oh no, hamburger helper. I am too much. Yes, we did. Y'all help me with some easy song. Silent. I know how to sing Happy Birthday in Japanese. That doesn't help. I did. I learned that as a busboy when I was working in a Japanese restaurant. Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, how sweet thou art. I don't know the words just yet, but I once was lost, but now I'm found. Oh, Arla, please help. I did it. I'll take it. I'll stop. I did. I don't know. I wish I knew how to work all the microphone now, because now I just sound like a deaf guy singing, which is terrible. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that y'all did that already and hit that goal. Thank you. I once was blind and now I see. You know what? I do not spend much time in the music category at all. I find it distracting, and I think that the devil's ploy to it is to make you stop studying and to take your mind off of what you're doing, which it surely does, man. I mean, everybody does. They play music just for that reason and take your mind off of what you're doing, and it really does. And the world that I live in, and I ask for it every morning, the world that I live in, gosh, man, it's like 3 cars on the highway in the morning that I live in. And every thought that I can think of, I ask to be just about him and learning and helping me convey that message to y'all. David sang in worship. David's a piece of work in his whole self right there. And you must be new. It's just a David. But David was a man after God's own heart. Well, I got that verse down. Trust me. Shalom. Abel, how you doing, man? Shalom. I love Amazing Grace. I'm sorry that I did that then. You're probably... It's like what that dude did, the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man? What he did, the Cher song. I can't even remember what Cher's song is about now. Now I do know the Muffin Man. That just ruined me. Now that's your Amazing Grace. I'm sorry. That was amazing what that dude did, man. Just like on cued and just pop the Muffin Man right on top of Cher. I'll laugh my butt off. Thank you so much. I did have a flash gold. You got a flash gold. I did. And my wife, she knows how to operate that stuff. And we're getting better and better. And I certainly do appreciate all of y'all's help and the suggestions and the prayers and all that stuff that y'all have given me. Want to know if Mastema is Mastema Satan? Yeah. It's the chief of spirits, Mastema. You read that last week. Is the chief of spirits, Mastema. And you know what I started really watching was the angels' names. Let me get back to my pictures. Wow. Were the angels' names? There's Gabrielle and Gabrielle and Michael, and they all end with like L, Shamazel, and all this stuff. Man, when you read them in the book of Enoch, and one thing that I found odd was Israel. Shut up! Do not go down that road. Isis is the first one, and then Ra, the sun god, is the second one. And then El, that's God. No, it's not. That means struggles with God. Whatever. Israel. El, I know. Michael! I know. I think that's Michael because he's standing on top of that dragon right there. It's a dragon head he's standing on top of. He's right. And it's almost the Ethiopian Bible. 88 books is missing. The 88 books. I know, man. The Ethiopian Bible does not have the book of Jasher. You know why? This is my codex right here. AJ just made this for me. It's got my name on it and all that stuff. Here's my codex. I'm going to tell you something. I put my lesson in here. You know one thing I did do when we designed this thing is it's big enough with 3 straps so that if you decided you wanted to put some whole other lesson in here, you certainly could. And it's leather, and it's just tough as nails. And I've got pictures of him just putting these all in by hand and hand tying it. But I just want to show you real quick. Out of this 2 inches, from there to there, that all is the book of Jasher. And out of all the books that I put in the codex, it's about 1 inch thick. This is the one that I only put pictures on the front page of each chapter. And I know it's not in the Ethiopian Bible. The Ethiopian Bible that you get is about 2 inches thick, and it ain't got Jasher in it. It's got everything else in the kitchen sink and the, Drano, and when you blow your nose and put it on a thing and that, and you go, oh, bless you, and it's got that in there. How long did it take you to learn and piece all this together? You know what? That's such a great question. Let me tell you what I did, what I recommend you do too. Somebody was asking me the other day about, did they have a Bible or something that I could, help them? I said, dude, man, make your own. That's one of the most rewarding things to do is to make your own book. Gluing it together and wrapping the leather is all a process, but it's not an undoable process. Literally printing off whatever information you want to put together, that's one of the things that I suggest. While I was printing all these things off, before I could even print them all off, I had to take the books that are especially in the Codex and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I had to make the chapters. I had to make them size 12 font and own the text and edit. Illustrate them. So the study guide that you're going to go download is me illustrating the chapter. So let me go right up here. If you haven't yet, go download the study guide, and you can go right there to my bio page and click on my link tree. And we're at the live tonight. And when the link tree pops up, you're going to want to go right there to the book of Jubilees, chapter 15, the calling of Abraham, right there, and go download that. When you click on it, bow, that pops up. And you wanted to know what I did to learn so much is I actually just took, copy, edit, pasted the text, put it in there. And then what I did was I put all the pictures with it and illustrated it and then made sure that it was all right and that those pictures match with that text and all that stuff. And I just got to tell you that if you ever illustrate something, you're going to own that information so much more. And this one thing that I recently did is right there underneath the Jubilees lesson is Revelations chapter 20, because I get asked all the time, are we in the little season? And part of me, this is how I learned and pieced all this together. That's such a great question. So I was telling y'all, take any book, take anything, and just piece it together and illustrate it. And you know, I get asked about the little season and are we in Satan's little season? What seal are we on? Dude, it's right here. It's all right here in Revelation chapter 20. So, you know, I'm from Savannah, Georgia, so not any kick to those people from Savannah, Georgia, but I'm not an MIT guy, okay? So just know that. I'm not. So share this out. Because I'm a redneck from Georgia. No, share this out, because what happens when you illustrate the book of Revelation? I love all these pictures and these sketches. These are from like the 1300s. These are Dore, D-O-R-E. And I took the book of Revelation, chapter 20, and all this size 12 font black text right here, that's the book of Revelation. Okay, and then all the things that back up and represent. I saw an angel descend from heaven, having a key in his hand and a chain and a key to the bottomless pit, and he chained the dragon away. Blah 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 blah. He that descended is he the very first one that ascended far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. When I went through and illustrated this and showed where it shows, and there were thrones, and they sat upon them, and there was judgment was given unto them. I show you right where King Herod was sitting on a throne, judgment was given unto them, and the lady that was dancing, and their mother asked for the head of John the Baptist, and he gave him his head on a charger right there and beheaded him. And it's right there, and they saw the souls of those that were beheaded, the witness of those that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus Christ. And when you just keep breaking this down, it tells you the scripture that in 1 John, where he was the witness, it's free to print off. For you to print off. All of these things are free for you to print off. And then it breaks each scripture down, each verse down. What's it say right there? I don't want that there anymore. Yeah. Matthew 27:52, that's right. And when he brought them out of the ground, the sixth seal, and that's the sixth seal right there, and then he gave them the white robes under the altar, that's when the earth did quake and the rocks did rent and the graves were opened and the bodies of many saints which slept arose and went into the holy city and were seen by many. Dead people got out of the grave, walked through the city streets of Jerusalem, seen by many. That's the same right there when the sixth seal, that cracked. And then you can just see it breaks the seals apart. They're 1,000 years apart right there. We're right there on the seals. And then it keeps going with the scriptures and the rest of the dead. That's what's giving us the problem. The problem in the world is the rest of the dead. They're still literally, they are the governors. They are the governors and the rulers of this world. They are the governors and the rulers of this world. But anyway, that's Revelation chapter 12, and I know that you will love that. It is a great print off. It has some super double cool pictures. When fire comes down and burns the beloved city and all that stuff, that's Jerusalem. It's a picture. The picture of the people with Jerusalem on fire, crawling on top of the Dome of the Rock, saying, "Hang down, the witches dead." There's your singing. You guys are so awesome. Appreciate this so much because it's a lot and I'm lost. I know. This is why you can print out. And I'm going to tell you something, man. When the sea gives up its dead and the earth gives up its dead and the books are opened, banana poop in a diaper right there. Wow. That is exactly what's going to happen. So let me show you where to go get this at. Let me show you. Go to my bio page. click on that Ezekiel thing. Normally it's my picture right over there. You can click on that and then go to my link tree. And as soon as you click on my link tree, that's going to pop up. And that's all the work that I hand make right there. If you just click on that, it'll go to that link. And then this is the chapter that we're going to read tonight. And then that's that whole thing in Revelation 20. It's a free PDF print off, so is that. And you can read right along. And then Revelation 20, we'll read it tonight. I pretty much did the first 3 pages of it. But it's really cool when you print these off, because this is what's going to print off. Nice color stuff. You'll really enjoy the lesson and how these got the maps and all this stuff. So please share this out to your friends. And if you're smart enough, go back through, print all the lessons, tear the cover page off, put some PVA glue on the back of it right here. It's just a regular PVA glue. And dude, you make your own Book of Jubilees, man. And like, this is my first Book of Jubilees that I made right here. There's nothing to it, man. Go get you some cool paper. There's a Book of Jubilees. There's all the lessons stuck together. It's not that big of a deal, man. And I'll show you. I'll help you. I can print and add it to my codex. You can print any of the stuff out in your codex. If you've got one of the codex, what she just said that she's got right here is like what I've got. And when I open my codex, AJ just laid this out. So you can see it's got the logo. He put my name on this one because I kept giving my work away. He goes, stop giving your codex away. I want you to sell with that. And get on it. But I just love the 2 millimeter, the veg tan leather that goes on the front of it. So it's a perfect combination between a hard skin and a hard cover and a soft cover. A lot of problems with those hard covers. I got an old Bible right there, and they just start to come apart. But as you see, we're going to start going and reading on this chapter right here in Jubilees. But one of the cool things about this book is it's divided into, here's the book of Enoch. There's the book of Jasher. And like I said, Jasher is almost an inch thick. I'm still in Jasher. That's Jasher 79. It goes to 93. You start getting back to the book of Gad, which is right here. And that's the one that has, in the last chapter in the book of Gad, is right there. The books, it says the books are opened. And chapter 14 is the revelation of Great Tribulation. And the revelation of the Great Tribulation is Rosh Hashanah. And this is 1000 BC, so 1,000 years before Christ. This is King David. This is the book of Gad. Where it says, is it not written in the book of Gad? I think that's 2 Corinthians, like 19:19 or something. And this is reading about the first day of the 7th month, which that is a very key day in the calendar and the Jubilee calendar. And that's Rosh Hashanah. And you can read about the books and all that stuff. But we'll be reading right out of Jubilees. All of them got this little thing in here. And we're going to be reading Jubilees. Chapter 15 right there. And every page in Jubilees and Enoch and all is going to be captured and going to have a picture on it. I love this. If you can see this right over my shoulder. I was just reading about the angels, the fallen angels. Ooh, there they are right there. There's names. Let me see. Simjaz, Aramaraz taught the undoing and resolving of enchantments. Simjaz was taught the enchantments of the cutting of roots and the sorcery of plant-based magic. Barachel taught astrology and the movements of the predict fate. Kokabel revealed the secrets of the constellations. Ezekiel instructed them in the knowledge of the clouds and meteorology. Araquel showed the signs of the earth. Samsel was taught the signs of the sun. Asariel was taught the course and the phases of the moon. And you can see all these minotaurs and these half men, half horses. This is all just...
When you're done, just someone's asking how to preserve the leather.
Oh, you know what? Let me tell you. You see this right here? And see how it's designed to be rough. And it is nothing more. I don't want to do this, but I use this stuff. You get it at any Napa auto parts store, any Mako auto parts store, any of this. It's just a leather conditioner. You can any of the leather conditioners that you would use on your furniture or couch and that stuff, and you can put it right on there, and it makes it smell and just brand new. I like the fact we don't try to polish them heavy because they will just show every little finger mark and what have you if you scratch it with your fingernails. But I like the fact that you can always just put that on there and wipe it out, and it'll always have that smooth textured surface. And that is just a nice high quality book. I certainly appreciate all of the people that have helped us. Believe me, we ship those out. Those are people that have bought both. And those are the people that just bought the Codex. That was just the other day, Thursday. I got you. You know what? Let me tell you something. AJ come walking into me today, and he goes, "Tell me about the Book of Wisdom." And I went, "What about beeswax?" Wow. And he said, "Tell me about the Book of Wisdom." And I said, nah. And he goes, "Well, it stopped. The printer stopped on that right there." And I said, "Dude, that book's not in the Apocrypha. That book's not in the Dead Sea Scrolls." And he goes, "So that's one of the ones that the Pope added back into the Bible?" I said, "Yeah, in 1582 he added 6 books to the 66 books, making it 72 books. And one of them was Solomon's Book of Wisdom, which was not in the Dead Sea Scrolls." And dude, as soon as you read that, and I've had so many people, they go, "But wisdom was there with God when he spoke the world into existence." And I was like going, "No, she wasn't." Nobody was there with God. And make my brain hurt whenever you start quoting that stuff, man. And I tell you what, the biggest one that'll quote that stupid crap to you is AI. Gosh, they're just stupid. He does look creepy. He is creepy. Let me get off of that guy's picture. That's right here. Melchizedek. Okay, Malak means king. Okay, Melchizedek, king of peace. Okay, so just know that Melchizedek was king of peace. Now, David said that he was a priest in the order of Melchizedek, Psalm 111. And I'm like going, you're cool, but you're not that cool. And you are anointed, and I guess the Hebrew word for that is Messiah, and you do live on Mount Zion, but you're a Melech. You're a king, man. You're a king. You didn't read any of the books, the rules about king. And any of the rules, him or his little Gweebob son, what's his name, sir? I am stupid. No, it's Solomon. That's his name. Hang on, I'll show you a picture of him. He's not stupid. He's not. That's not nice. My wife's, you know what? 40 years is a time of testament right there. You see that dashed line? That was right there when David and Saul became king. That's the end of the time period of the 400 years when they would serve as a stranger in a land. They would be a stranger in a land that was not theirs. That ended right there when Billy Bob became the first Messiah. And then Daryl, he decided to get anointed, and he lived on Mount Zion. And his son, which was even more so stupid than he was. But notice that all of these 40 years in the desert, 40 days and 40 nights, 40, 40, 40. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen, man. That was a time of judgment and testament and all this stuff. Why? It makes my head. This makes my head hurt. Well, Solomon's sitting there between the two poles of Freemasonry, Jasaz and Boab, right there. So that's in every Freemason's Masonic lodge because they built the temple for Solomon. No, they did not build the temple for Solomon. The king of Tyre and his Masons built the temple for Solomon. And you're not supposed to have stairs up to your thing. The people, they don't even read that, man. They don't even read the 10 Commandments. It's like 11 and 12. I'll show you. Well, let's read the 10 Commandments, and then we'll read the 11th, 12th, and 13th commandment. And they're like going, hey, we can't have some redneck reading. I'm just like going, y'all just stay with me right here. Exodus chapter 20, commandment number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Pango, Foxtrot. We go on the way right down there through. That's number 10. Thou shalt not cover thy neighbor's wife. We're right here. 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's a couple of more commandments. Dude's talking. And the Lord said to Moses, thou shalt tell all people, ye shall not make gods unto silver and gold. I'm sorry, that's commandment number 11. What else you want them to do? Nor should you make the altar of earth, that you should raise a tool upon it and all that stuff. You polluted it. And he also talks about making steps that go up to an altar. And I'm just like, these dudes, man. You know why they did not... you know why they don't tell you the 11th, 12th, and 13th commandment? Because there's the stairs that go up to the smooth stone altar, and these are all the images that they have throughout the basilica that are all carved, and some of them are gold plated and all that stuff. But they just left that out there like going, man, Solomon's got steps up to his temple. And I'm like going, I know, up to his altar. He's stupid. That crap's in Leviticus, bro, not me. I mean, that's in the Exodus. Like, I know there's statues of the devil, the dragon right there. Somebody's going, you're stretching crap. And I'm like going, come here, I'll punch you in the head. There's what gender is that angel? Nobody knows. You can't tell me. Pretty cool. The 13th commandment. That's what, you know what? Just do it again. Go to Exodus 20, read them, and just highlight them. Boom, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bam. Boom, right here, man. Lord's still talking. Thou shalt not making steps up to your altar. Don't make it a smooth stone, and don't raise a tool upon the stone or you polluted it. I'm like going, okay, well, when you raise a tool upon the stone, yeah, you're a mason. What do you mean you're a mason? Yeah, man, you build crap out of bricks. Yeah, well, if you shape a stone with you're a sculptor, but you're sculpting stone. Yeah, you're a master mason. What? If you sculpt that good, out of stone and marble, you're a master mason. Call no man master, for you have one master in heaven above. And as the dude that's standing there with his little Yamaha hat on, going, my name's Father, whatever the heck, and you're like going, you know it says call no man father, but because you have but one Father, your Father in heaven, and you said your name's Father, whatever. Yeah. You're the one responsible for all the dragons in St. Peter's Basilica? No. Who's responsible for that? I don't know. So you mean there's somebody that could actually walk through St. Peter's Basilica and go, man, can we just get rid of all the dragons and all that crap in here? And you know it says right there in Exodus, the second book of the Bible, it says The Lord says, not it says, not it was written by Moses or any of that crap. The Lord talking, and he said, you should not have stairs going up to your altar. And dang, man, we got stairs right there. Who were they built by? Constantine. Constantine built them, and he built all of that crap. Well, he was a Roman, yeah, pagan, yeah, okay. So I say you need to get rid of all that crap. This is the biggest church in the world. It's got more dragons than any place I haven't seen that many dragons at Disney World. I mean, like Puff the Magic Dragons didn't even do as good as your dragon. Dragons, y'all got the most creepiest crap in the world, and this dude's like going, I know, because I'm in the. If you turn away from the Lord, you're gonna get a black right eye. Pow. What's that verse? That is a verse too. Argentina. They're a big deal today. Messi. Man, he can't do anything wrong. He's like LeBron taking 3 steps from the half line. You're not giving me a card. No. Made a bunch of soccer fans out of the United States. Who doesn't love the blonde-haired dude, Holland? If you don't like him or the Botox that he's definitely got on the bottom lip, I'm going to tell you something. I love that guy. I like soccer more so because of the dude, blonde-haired dude, the Viking. He's related to these people right here. Those Viking people, they were like that. That's like them on the soccer field without wings. That's it. I know he is hilarious. He is. And then his sister does just as good at impersonating him, too. If you have not downloaded the study guide, my wife is going to say, you know what? I'm done with you. And you have to, I'm going to, honey, I promise you. All I got to do is find a little blue circle right there. Go share this out to at least 473 of your closest friends. And no kidding. I made a big difference on one of AJ's, one of his things. I shared it out to a couple of my friends, and he ended up having like 400 something people in the room. And it was just because it was shared out and it started to catch. So this has all got kinds of free PDFs and stuff to download and study all during the week as we come into the Sabbath and we start to skid into our way of resting, which what this is all about is go to my bio page, click on that right there, click on my link tree, that little sentence right there. Boom, and that's going to pop up. I hand make all this stuff together. If you want to print them out chapter by chapter, print that out right there. And that's a free PDF printout of chapter 15 of the book of Jubilees. That's the call of Moses, when he had his covenant with God. And then that right there is the most prominent question I get asked about where are we in the little season, what seal are we on, and all that stuff. Revelation chapter 20 is going to be a great thing. Next week, I am giving away one of these big Bibles. We're giving away, and it's going to be the big give right now. And I'm going to tell you something. There's only about, I haven't been in the mailbox, but there's like 4 or 5 people that are in the drawing for this. So click on the big give, send me a postcard. It's absolutely free to enter. All you got to do is send me a postcard. We're giving away a big Bible, and that's going to be the big give. And any other the books that you want to read and look, these are all the lost books, where the Dead Sea Scrolls came from. These are all free to print off, man. And if you get to any of the stuff that looks like it's locked, just push in 33333, and you'll get right to it. The big one, we're having a big giveaway. It'll be next Wednesday. You have to be present to win. You have to send me a postcard like Michael did, like Trisha did, and just like Maria did. Charlestown, I love that. It's right across from Savannah, and just like Kathy did. And last month, we gave away a Codex, and Jess Joe, I believe she's in here. Jess Joe, that's her card, and I save it right there. There she is, and she won a Codex last week. Super cool. Last couple of weeks ago. Y'all send me a postcard, man. That's worth. I'm not gonna say what that thing is because they get mad at me when I say that. But download the study guide, and what's going to print off when you download 15 is you'll see it. Here's all the pictures. That'll be a great copy for you. And it's got some good color pictures. You can print it anything you want to in black and white. Here's a copy of mine, and these are all the things where I've highlighted. And these are the things from me reading it. It's the same one that you're going to print out. And this is just what I've highlighted and wanted to point out. But I bet you my wife's getting ready to send me that text that says, please get to the lesson, because I've been running my mouth for 45 minutes. So please share this out, download the free study guide, and let's see when Abraham got his name changed and when said that he would be the father and that kings would come forth from him. Right there. Are y'all ready? Are you ready? Mm-hmm. What I read the other day, I loaded something up on my Patreon, and man, it was like the War Scroll or something. It was a great story. Bless Michelle. She's ready. I'm ready. You're ready. We're ready. I'm going to put my head in front of this picture. And it talks about that Abraham, he made the sacrifice right at the beginning of this. And you can see the animals and all that stuff of the sacrifice. It's a great picture of that exact event. Right there. I'm going to start right here. Chapter 15, Jubilees. Maybe the most interesting time it must have been in Jubilees 15. I'm going to tell you what, dude. This next couple of chapters. He's on top of Mount Zion. This is exactly where Melchizedek lives, on top of Mount Zion. When he sacrifices his son, he's right there on top of Mount Moriah, where Solomon built the temple. The next couple of weeks, as he goes into that area, you'll start to understand more so who held his hand back and who was there and who the angels of the presence and it's just really going to really appeal to you how the book of Jubilees opens the stories up and explains it. I'm going to get started right now. Jubilees chapter 15. Yahweh appeared to Abraham at the feast of the first fruits. And in the 5th year, of the 4th week of this Jubilee, in the 3rd month, in the middle of the month, Abraham celebrated the feast of the first fruits of the grain harvest. And he offered new offerings on the altar, the first fruits of the produce unto Yahweh, and a heifer, and a goat, and a sheep on the altar as a burnt sacrifice unto Yahweh. Their fruit offerings and their drink offerings he offered upon the altar with frankincense. And Yahweh appeared to Abram and said to him, I am Yahweh Almighty. Approve yourself before me, and be you perfect, and I will make my covenant between me and you, and I will multiply you exceedingly. And Abraham fell on his face, and Yahweh talked with him and said, Behold, my ordinance is with you, and you shall be my father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Abram, but your name from henceforth evermore shall be called Abraham. For the father of many nations have I made you, and I will make you very great, and I will make you into nations, and kings shall come forth from you. Bam. Keep right on going. And I shall establish my covenant between me and you, and your seed after you, throughout their generations, for an eternal covenant, so that I may be a sovereign ruler to you, and to the seed after you, and the land where you have been a sojourner, the land of Canaan, that ye may possess it forever, and I will be their sovereign ruler. And Yahweh said to Abraham, As for you, do you keep my covenant? you and your seed after you, and circumcise you every male among you, and circumcise your foreskins, and it shall be a token of eternal covenant between me and you. And the child on the 8th day you shall circumcise every male throughout your generations, him that is born in the house, or whom you have brought with money from the stranger, for whom you have acquired, who is not of your seed. He that is born in your house shall surely be circumcised, and those who have brought with money shall be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an eternal ordinance. And the uncircumcised male, not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin on the 8th day, that shall be cut off from his people, for he has broken my covenant. And Yahweh said to Abraham, as for Sarah, your wife, her name shall no more be called Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. And I will bless her and give you a son by her. And I will bless him, and he shall become a nation, and kings of nations shall proceed from him. And Abraham fell on his face and rejoiced, and said in his heart, shall a son be born to him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bring forth? And Abraham said to Yahweh, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. That's a good picture right here. These dudes are all suffering because he's put the wackadoo on all these boys, man. Right there at the top, page 3. And Yahweh said, yes, and Sarah also shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him, an everlasting covenant for his seed after him. And as for Ishmael also have I heard you. And behold, I will bless him, and make him a great, and multiply him exceedingly. And he shall beget 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you in these days in the next year. And he left off speaking with him, and Yahweh went up from Abraham. And Abraham did according as Yahweh had said to him, and he took Ishmael his son, and all those born in his house, and whom he had bought with money, and every male in his house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskins. And the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and all the men of his house, and all those whom he had bought with money, for the children of the strangers were circumcised with him. This Torah is for all the generations forever, and all those there is no circumcisions of the days, and no omission of one day out of the 8 days, for it is all eternal ordinances ordained and written on the heavenly tablets. I got to change the page. You have to change with me. Bow. And everyone that is born of the flesh, his foreskin is not circumcised on the 8th day, belongs not to the children of the covenant, which Yahweh him that he is Yahweh's, but he is destined to be destroyed and slain from the earth, and to be rooted out of the earth, for he has broken the covenant of Yahweh, our sovereign ruler. For all the Malachim of the presence and all the Malachim of sanctification have been so created from the day of their creation. And before the Malachim of the presence and the Malachim of sanctification, he has sanctified Israel, that they should be with him, and with him his Kodesh Malachim. And that's an angel. And do you command the children of Israel and let them observe the signs of this covenant for their generations as an eternal ordinance, and that they will not be rooted out from the land? For the commandment is ordained for a covenant, that they should observe it forever among all the children of Israel. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, Yahweh did not cause to approach him. And he chose them not because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them, but he chose Israel to be his people. And he sanctified it and gathered it from amongst all the children of men. For there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his. And over all he placed the spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. This is good. This next page is going to be an eye opener for this. Understand this. But over Israel, he did not appoint any angel or spirit, for he alone is their ruler. And he will preserve them and require them at the hand of his angels and his spirits, and at the hand of all his powers, in order that he may preserve them and bless them, and that they may be his, and he may be theirs from henceforth forevermore. And now I announce unto you that the children of Israel will not keep to this ordinance, and they will not circumcise their sons according to this Torah. For in one flesh of their circumcision, they will omit the circumcision of their sons, and all of them, sons of Belial, will leave their sons uncircumcised as they were born. And there will be a great wrath from Yahweh against the children of Israel, because they have forsaken his covenant and have turned aside from his word, and provoked and blasphemed, inasmuch as they do not observe the ordinances of this Torah. For they have treated their members like Gentiles, so that they may be removed and rooted out of the land. And there will no more be a pardon or forgiveness unto them, so that they should be forgiven or pardoned for all the sin of this eternal error. So I didn't go over what that picture is right there. If you have one of the big Bibles, that picture is all right. Who has one of the big Bibles and can tell me what that picture is right there? Yay. I'll let y'all do that. We're reading about them being right double-barreled there. I did picture of Moses. That picture right there, those stones. That altar that does not have any stones upon it. Y'all went to the exact place where Moses broke the 10 Commandments. That's the altar right there at the base of Mount Sinai. That's where the 10 Commandments were smashed. And I put that picture in there. I think it's really cool. I put a bunch of cool pictures in there. Those are all, I'm reading right out of my codex, and that is the Book of Jubilees right there. AJ put that together. We built all that stuff right here. Where Abraham went to sacrifice Isaac. Nope. That's Mount Moriah. High Country John. That picture was just of the altar that the people built. That's Mount Sinai right there. And in that big Bible, it tells you that that's the altar that the people built, and Moses broke the 10 Commandments right there. He came down the mountain, and the people were around that, and he was like, dude, whatever, man. Whatever. That picture's in there. There's some really cool pictures in that printout, and I use them throughout some of my work. But if you go up to get a copy of that study guide, it's right there. If you want to. Go right there to my bio page and that link tree, and the study guide is right there. It's free to print off either one of those PDFs. The next one that we're going to do is Revelation chapter 20. Hang on, I got to fix my piece of puzzle. Is Revelation chapter 20. And that's, I mean, I get asked about the little season and what's going on, where's the devil. It's also Abraham, Moses, and Jesus all happened on the same mountain. Yeah. Me and you are definitely on the same page, man. It all is coming together quite well, isn't it? I see you seeing it. I'm starting to Melchizedek, King of Peace. I mean, in Jeru, he was in Jerusalem. You know, he's right there. Abraham's getting ready to meet him in the next couple of chapters where he comes back from the slaughter of the 5 kings of Gomorrah when Lot escapes. And his wife turns into a pillar of salt and all that stuff. Lot gets drunk in the desert and has children with his 2 daughters. And they birth, one of them birthed the Moabites. And the Moabites are Ruth the Moabite. So from the incestual relationship of Lot and his daughters is where Ruth the Moabite comes from, and King David was a descendant of the Moabites. And it says in Leviticus that a Moabite should never enter the temple, even unto the 10th generation, forever. And David's like, I'll do it. Going, y'all, is anybody reading the book? No, man, nobody's reading the book. You see the stairs up to the altar? Yeah. Well, the masons of Tyre made those. I know they didn't read the book. No, and you know what? I was wanting to stop with that. What if you're not circumcised? All of this is the old covenant. All of this was under the old law. If you were circumcised, you stuck out like a thumb because you were the only dude under the chop, and it set them apart, man. He even so much so that people wanted to be like them, and they said even like the sons of Jacob said when those dudes took their sister, and they said, if y'all will all become circumcised, you and this whole town, and be like us, we'll mingle with you, but we're not playing with you. And they saw how cool they were, so they wanted to be like them. And that was what they were doing. You saw right there at the end of that chapter, it said, but no, they're going to mess up, and they're going to go away backwards, and they will, and they did. So that was a call sign for them a long time ago. And the commandments that were given, Jesus was asked by the Pharisees, what is the great commandment? And what? And Jesus, you keep freezing. I do. I'm reading it as Jesus and David's line. I saw that. I saw the pinned comment. Jesus is the root of David. It says it right there at the very end of the Bible. And isn't it funny, out of all the people that he could claim relationship to was King David. One of the most questionable characters in the Bible, man. And David had all them boys. Why did Moses break the 10 Commandments? Because he came down the mountain, and after he had received the law from God, and the people had built a golden calf and had already started to sin, and he was up there for 40 days and 40 nights. And he was like, man, I can't even go away for a little bit, and you already got a golden calf. And if you read some of this stuff, definitely witchcraft involved in that, man. They all threw their earrings into the fire, and the calf came out of the fire and all that stuff. A little weird. TikTok, they don't, I guarantee you, when I start freezing, that means the truth is open and it's coming out. Why did Moses break? That's why he broke them. And then he walked back up the hill and went, oh, man, broke him. You write that again. I wrote the first one. I did. You can see right here in my codex. Let me show you real quick. Right here. Once you get past the sign-in sheet, this tells you all about it, about the 5 books, what's in there. This page is who it was given to. My son, he did that all. Filled it all out. Give it to the trumpet. AJ. He's such a pimp. I'm going to do all my family registry. It's got all of them have that in it. the big Bible and the. But it's got a his and her family tree, husband and wife family tree. Then it tells you all about the Dead Sea Scrolls. And then I love this first page of the book of Jubilees. The first chapter and the first text. Right here. And it says, Yahweh spoke to Moses and said, come up to me on the mountain, and I will give you 2 tables of stone of the Torah and of the commandment, which I have written, that you may teach them. Keep seeing the videos of you people saying that this is the real Israel. Put that comment back up. Israel. You cannot take that word and break it apart like that. Yes, I can. I am from Savannah. Keep seeing videos of people saying that this is the real Israel, and the one over there. No, they are a special band of deluxe idiots all by themselves. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I freeze again? I'm sorry. No, they're special. And well, all the people that are encircling the camp of the beloved city of the saints and the camp of the saints, none of them have in their Qumran or their Quran or any of their books where their guy's coming back and going to come back in with the sky's going to roll apart and all of that stuff. So when all the people that are circling the city of the saints see the sky depart as a scroll and fire descend from God out of heaven and destroy the beloved city of the saints, they're all going to know what the heck that came from, and that was God, that was the God of Israel, and that he held that judgment onto those people. And then it's going to be hell to paint, man. I mean, to tell you. Israel is Egyptian, dude. They're band of just whatever, man. Let me tell you something. Those dudes come marching out of the Red Sea. I got some great pictures of them coming through the Red Sea. Y'all tell me right now. There they are. There's them coming through the Red Sea right there. And when they split the Red Sea. Now, y'all tell me what that box was. There was a couple of people in here at the beginning of this. What was the golden box that went through the Red Sea as they left Egypt? Egypt's back there. They're coming through the Red Sea. What is that golden box that they're carrying as? No. Aaron. I love it. You nailed it, David Whitman. Aaron. It's not the Ark of the Covenant. It's the bones of Joseph. And the way they carried around a Pharaoh was just like the Ark of the Covenant. So for 40 years, they carried around Joseph and the Ark of the Covenant. And Tutankhamun, these are all boxes that they carried their bones around in, and they were all wood-plated boxes. And you can see that in Joseph's coffin and the Ark of the Covenant, it's the same word, Aaron, right there. And they only use that to connect the same thing. So just know, man, while those dudes were walking through and escaping Egypt, before they had the Ark of the Covenant, they had the Ark of Joseph's bones, the coffin of Joseph. And it was the same word as the Ark of the Covenant because that's the way it's presented in royalty, and that's the way it's carried, and that's the way it's, sort of is. That's why it's the same word. Where are his bones now? There's they said they found them, and that the statue there, it would be so far up in my pictures I'd never find it. And the statue there, dude had red hair, which I totally believe because David was a ginger. And I think Joseph, because he was a deluxe turd barrel, I think he was a ginger too. Not that I think anything about gingers. My daughter's got red hair. I know. I do. But David, he was a ginger. He was a piece of work. Says that Joseph, his statue, had a coat of many colors. The Israelites were spread throughout the world, and Israel is not a good place. No, I don't think Israel is not a place. Shut up. In 1948, the King of England made them a place. So there. Oh, okay. So you renamed the land that God named it? Yeah. It was named Canaan. Did they carry his bones to the grave of Abraham? There is no thing that says Joseph is right here. And in Hebron, where Abraham and all of them were buried, I don't think there's a Joseph thing. Now, where they found Joseph and 12 or 11 other graves, and one of them was a pyramid. Inside the one that was shaped like a pyramid is a statue with red hair and a coat of many colors. But you can go look that up. And I don't think they made it all the way out. I would have dropped his butt, dude. I'm not carrying. Be hard to carry a gallon of water for 40 years. I guarantee you I wouldn't be carrying some dead dude around for 40 years. I'm dropping that box for damn sure. That's not a place. It's not a place. Israel is not a place. Israel is a fictitious name that some demon. It was a man. It was an angel. It daggum sure wasn't God, because it came in the night, wouldn't tell him his name, didn't know his name, and had to leave before the sun came up. Yeah, and says, I'm going to call you Struggles with God. Yeah, because you're like a fat kid with a cheeseburger. Yeah, you're a struggle with that crap, don't you? Yeah, stick with that name through thick and thin, man. Name your whole country after it and all that stuff. Y'all be the Israel people. Well, that means we struggle with God. Yeah, I like it, man. Keep it. It's a keeper. That's a keeper. Put a big. It should start with a big like that, and it's right there on their forehead. And they could have those big Pope hats where it says "Thou shalt not cover their head," and "Thou shalt cover their head" with a big book. They should have that like on their little beanie thing. Bam. They should. Tells all about my boy Jesus, man, and in. Gosh, the book of Isaiah, they just can't, when you quote the Old Testament to them guys and say, they're going to send a wonderful counselor and he will bear the stripes of all this stuff and be our savior and all that stuff. I guess you're just not going to read Ezekiel where the water's going to come and the bones are going to come to life and all that stuff, just like they did in Matthew 27:52. But don't read that. You go, whatever you want to do. So do you think that they have switched everything? Example, the Israelite. I know they switched everything. I got the maps in that thing where they moved the tomb of David to, that's the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. They swapped that place. It was the church, it was the tomb of David, and then they made it the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. There's enough people on here to where I don't need to do it. I'll do it. Do y'all want me to do the maps that show that? Oh, well. It takes me a minute, though. All right. All right. You see where it says Tomb of David? And I want you to keep an eye on it. There's the Palace of Herod. That's Mount Zion right there. There's the Palace of Herod. There's the pool. There's the Tomb of David. And there's the temple. Watch this. This Tomb of David is going to turn right into the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. There's the temple straight across from it, and there's the pool right there. All right, I got to go to the picture again. Hang on. Be that one. Dadgummit. Sorry. Be that one. There it is right there. All right, there's the pool. There's the temple straight across. The tomb of David was changed into the Church of the Holy Sepulchre right there. This is modern Jerusalem. These maps are all in that old Bible, and the maps don't lie. There's no Mandela effect here. The people that run Jerusalem, the Israel people that run that, they moved the tomb of David, and now that's called the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Constantine's mama did that crap. It was the temple of Venus or Jupiter or something like that. That was when Jesus was walking through there, bro. David. Now they say the tomb of David. Now they'll, if you go look up where the tomb of David is now, where it's located now, it's directly underneath the upper room. So where all the tongues of fire and where they all met and where they had the Last Supper and all of that crap right there happened right above the tomb of David? No, it didn't. Y'all moved that there, man. They are just so jumping on my boy JC's bandwagon. And they're like going, his name's not Jesus, it's Yeshua. And I'm like going, you do know that when the sky departs as a scroll, that boy has a name written on his thigh that no man knows? So it won't do you any good to be yelling out the name that you think that you should be yelling out, because in the book of Revelation, when the sky departs as a scroll and you see the dude on the white horse has a name written on his thigh that no man knows but he himself. So just put that in your that's his name pipe and smoke that. His name is, you don't know? You don't know? Only he knows his name is written on his thigh. It says that. By the way, the only thing it does say is in John 19:19, it does say, where did the word Utah come from? You're going to have to tell me, flatness, where did Utah come from? I couldn't even tell you. You should answer that question for me. He is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And that's right. I like that. Bless you. What does it mean? What does it mean, though? Yeah. What does Utah mean? Now that inquiring minds want to know. I hope it's biblical. Please. You have the floor. Yes. Us and 156 people want to know. Who I pray a personal relationship with and it involves the fruits of the Spirit, there it is. I don't know why we have the most pyramids in the world, and I double daggum sure don't know why. Utah, Judah. Okay. That's like if you take the F and change it to a J, and if you take the O and change it to an R. Oh, my God. Well, yeah. What did it say? What did you mean, John 19:19? Oh, it says how that they wrote Jesus Christ of Nazareth in 3 different languages and nailed it on a board over his head when they hung him on a cross. So they wrote it in 3 different languages, the words Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So that's the verse that I always tell people and go, what verse does it say his name is Yahweh? And you're like, oh, because the book that we got, the Hebrew train wreck called the Bible, which is the train wreck of the Hebrew people, why do we need to know this guy's train wreck? Because they screw up so much that fire is going to destroy them, and we're all going to say, oh, crap. That, you mean this? And then there's going to be like 8 people over there going, I told you so. I mean, look at this. These dudes are barrel full of knuckleheads, man. All right, listen. We're doing this. If you go to Jerusalem and you go to the Mountain of Olives, that's a cool place. All right? That's where Jesus is going to descend. That's a really cool place right there. Okay, and then this is called the Mountain of Offense. Offensive, it is offensive. This is right there where we just pointed all that stuff. That's Mount Zion right there. And then that's where Herod had built his palace and all this stuff. And then the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and David's grave is all right there. Right there. Okay. So if you were to get on top of the mountain of a fence and look over the fence, right there, you would be standing on all of these graves looking at Jerusalem across the valley. Now, in Ezekiel 38, when it says, and the water will flow out from underneath the eastern threshold of the eastern gate, it's like right there. And then it's going to go through that valley and around through that eastern gate. It's going to come out right there, go through that valley, go into the Dead Sea. That's all Ezekiel 30, 47, and 48 when it comes underneath the eastern threshold. But these dudes, man, that they build their graves and all this stuff on here because they think my boy ain't going to step on their grave. Man, he busted the graves open. So those are all graves over there. Keep you from walking into the eastern gate. Sully, man, and his little Mount of Olives is close to the Last Supper. The Last Supper was over in the upper room over in here. In the city of David. Right there. And that's why they say the tomb of David is now. And you're like going, oh, really? That's because Constantine kicked your butt. Constantine's mama kicked him out of there. Found David's tomb and was like going, there were crosses. I guess you never read the 22nd Psalm. What do you mean? Well, the 22nd Psalm, boy, knows all about pinning you to a board, man. He's reading about it. And then Julius Caesar, when he got abducted by pirates, he said, I'm going to have y'all all crucified. Yeah, they know exactly how to, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. And when you're suspended and lifted up, you're suspended between heaven and earth and all that stuff. And Golgotha. That's where David took Goliath's skull to the camp of the Philistines. You read right after he cut Goliath's head off and all. He took his head over here to the hill of the skull and he put it right there. My people are destroyed all the day long because of their lack of knowledge. What? What's this mean to you? That people don't really know that the guy that built all this, the city of David and all that stuff, that he hated the lame and the blind with his soul, and that that he that does not enter by the front gate, the same as a robber and a thief, and that when David entered into the temple area and not the temple area, but into the Mount Zion area before it was the city of David, he snuck in through the gutter. And he slayed the lame and the blind that were hated of David's soul. And so many people are going, but he was, religion, that's a perfect one. But he was a man after God's own heart. And I'm like going, yeah. And Satan was one of the most cherished angels in heaven. But understand, David hated the lame and the blind with his soul. It says that in that book that we're reading by. And I'm not just, this is not my opinion. I'm not a David hater. I literally am just reading it to you because once he found the altar of God, then he called in the masons from Tyre, which are right over there. And the masons of Tyre helped him build the first altar. And they took their tools upon the stone and they chiseled out the first altar. And surely this is the altar of God. And David was the first person to take iron and brass in abundance and build a gate or a wall so that he could restrict access to that. That's what a wall and the gate does, is restrict access to it. And that's the key of David. David locked up the access to the altar of all of that. I mean, he built a wall around Milo and round about. Can't get behind someone who speaks with Satan and does his bidding, period. Right? Well, Satan talked with David and moved David to number Israel, committing his biggest sin. So David is the one that definitely was moved by Satan and definitely had his conversations with Satan. And he's quite a guy, but that's all just, you can read that right there in the Bible, man. I mean, that's those are verses. That's not my opinion. So that's not, hey, you're talking about one of God's great people. It says the dude that built his palace right there the king of Tyre, that he walked through the garden of God. So, I mean, if that's just too hard for that to process, I would not read Ezekiel like 18 about that dude that sat on the throne of God, that walked through the garden of God and said, I am God. That happened like right there, man. The king of Tyre, right there, helped Solomon and David build that right there, that temple. And he built David a palace after David slayed the lame and the blind on top of Mount Zion, the mountain of God. So David climbed the mountain of God, the masons of Tyre built him, king of Tyre built him a palace up there. I don't know. David found the altar of God after he named or numbered all the people. I'm just telling you something, man. If you think that David didn't see the crucifixion in the life of Christ, you're really wrong. Who do we pay alms or sacred service to? Jesus Christ and God in heaven above Almighty. Jesus Christ. And there is but one thing that you need to do is love him with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. And the second commandment is like unto it, that you should love your neighbor as yourself. And that upon those two commandments hang all the law and all the prophets. And for all the people that are just can't get it, for all of the crap that you think that you can come up with, for all of the stinky bull crap things that you think that you can do wrong and be wrong, Jesus Christ himself said that the great commandment is to love God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. And the second command is like unto it, that thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay? And upon those two commandments hang all the law and all the prophets. Let me show you something. That's me, not last Friday, but the Friday before. And I died for 2 minutes right there. I had 6 heart attacks 2 Fridays ago. Okay? And I died right there for 2 minutes. I'm going to tell you something. I got up from that, and the thought and the verses came to me that said, if the people are of one language, now that the people are of one language, and this was right before the Tower of Babel, it said, now that the people are of one language, there is nothing that they can imagine. Do we know why he was a man after God? I'll tell you that in a minute. They said now that they have become of one language, there's nothing that they can't imagine that they can't do. And that verses was one of the first verses that came to me. And I was just thinking that if we all got along together and we all loved each other and we all followed those two commandments, that we loved God with all of our heart and we loved our neighbor as ourselves, then there's nothing that we couldn't imagine that we couldn't do. And, do we know why he was a man after God's own heart? I can tell you what, he was a perfect example of everything that you could do wrong. And I don't want to just listen. I'm not here to kick David's butt, because I actually can kick Solomon's butt 200 times worse than David's butt, because Solomon was supposed to be, let me get that stupid picture off of there. Ooh, that's where they shocked me right there. That's one of the paddles. That's on my upper chest right there. Ooh, it's still there too. Right there, and that's on my side right there. When they go, bap! They hit me 6 times. They did. Yeah, I know. Dude. 2 minutes, man. We sat there and watched a 2-minute intermission, and me and my wife held hands and just said, let's sit here for 2 minutes and see how long that is. That's a long time, man. And, but I'm not trying to bust David's butt. Solomon, man, he was supposed to know all this crap. David, he was a, little shepherd, totally left the flock. He's an idiot. Left the flock. He didn't know. Solomon's supposed to be one of the smartest men in the world, and the commandments, or the book of Leviticus says that a king shall not gather many horses unto himself, shall not gather many wives unto himself, shall not gather much gold unto himself, and should never return to Egypt. Okay? So King Solomon returned to Egypt, got 40,000 horses, gathered 666 talents of gold from the Jewish people every year so that they could practice their religion, and had 700 wives and 300 concubines. So he'd got 1,000 women hanging around in the temple's court, and he went outside of Jerusalem and built on all of these hills. Let me tell you something. I got a picture of this. Okay, that's the temple that Solomon was right over there. And outside of Jerusalem, this is where Solomon built all of his wives' temples to their gods on the other side, on the mountain of offense. So Solomon built all of his wives' crap right over here. He's so stupid. And then he returned to Egypt. It was like he took the Bible and said, are there some rules for the king? Yes, there are. They're in Leviticus. Can you write them down for me? Yes, because I would like to just rip those pages out. We're going, no, we're going to do everything on one of them. Where we got to go? Egypt. Egypt! What do we got to do? You should not gather many horses. Horses! And then, I'm not going to go there. 300 concubines. Those who lead astray like them will be judged more harshly. Correct? Yeah, absolutely. 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 The people that seek to change the days and the times. That guy right there, Pope Gregory, he printed and made this Bible in 1582. And he added 7 books. He had 6 books to it. And he changed the calendar. Go to 1582 in October and click on the month of October on your iPhone. Scroll to 1582. Click on October, and it'll go from the 4th to the 15th. He took 10 days. They will seek to change the days and the seasons. It says you should not add to or take away from the words of this book, or will add you to be taken out of the book of life. That guy. I know. I would love to do that too. Hi, Country John. Let's get on your private corporate jet and go. If you don't have one, then we'll dress real nice and act like we have a private corporate jet. We'll just try to talk the guys into it. I'm down. Jet or not, let's go over there. We could get on those, I wouldn't get on one of the Israeli planes for nothing. They'd hand you a beeper right before you got to take this beeper. John Fetterman got a beeper the other day. I wouldn't have touched it, man. I said, what am I going to do with this? Okay, that's very nice. Just don't put the beeper over there. Greg, I'll get the jet. And I have, we all need our garments packed. Let me tell you what that means. That means that you need to have all of your crap together. Your garment is not the clothes that you're wearing. Your garment is your knowledge and love of Christ and what he gives you and what he is to you and how he is on you and how he wears you and how he is your garment. That's the garment that you got to have ready, waiting when you hear the trumpet. Pin that comment back. I'm sorry. Like oil in your lamp. It is, man. And Peter, he was out there on the boat. Man, he had left his fisher's garment, fisher's coat. I consider this my church. This is our church. Are you ever going to start a church? I am just now becoming affiliated with enough people, it's a big thing, man. I mean, just printing Bibles and doing what we do right now is a big thing. And I think I'm dealing, my moderators, we could pull that off, man. Because it needs to be digital. It needs to be a digital church. And it needs to have, I talked to High Country John, he's on here. I talked to him for an hour the other day, if not longer than that. And a one-on-one conversation is just how I love talking with people. And, you know, going to our, what year did you say? 1582. 1582. 1582, October 1582, scroll on your iPhone and then click on the month because it'll look normal when it's just in the little cube, and then you click on it, it goes from the 4th to the 15th. Me and, who was it? It was Matt, one of our fellows on here, and he's a big sponsor of mine too, man. I certainly appreciate all of y'all people. I really do, man. We were loading codexes up. Those are all in the little boxes are codexes. And that box right there is just a big Bible. And then those boxes have a Bible and a codex. And have a special box just for that. We did. Well, that's what AJ, me and him do that all day long, man. That's the Bible. That's that 1582 Bible. And, you know, AJ, he was printing Bibles today. He walked right in and he was like going, hey, Dad, what's the book of wisdom of Solomon? I was like going, who was the primary translator of the Bible? It was translated by a whole bunch of people. The very first ones were in Latin, and then those that translated out of the vulgar Latin were John Wycliffe. The Geneva Bible was first. And then John Wycliffe and Tinsdale and I'm forgetting the other guy. But they all translated the 66 books that you know and love. Mark your calendar. He goes live every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we are next week, if you haven't yet, I'm going to tell you something, man. The Revelations chapter 20 is really cool thing to download. I want you to go into that. A lot of people, you know, they say, hey, do you put all of your study guides together with facts in them? Yeah, man, when I tell you that when the rest of the dead got out of the grave and it says the sixth seal and there'll be an earthquake, that's after the 1,000 years are finished, the rest of the dead yet live again. Dude, and it says this is the first resurrection. So in 33 AD, add 1,000 years, 1033, Jordan Valley Rift right there. The earthquake comes right through, knocks some of the walls down to Jerusalem. The sixth seal right there, rest of the dead yet live again. And those are all right there in the Bible when the rest of the dead yet live again. It's in Revelations 20. And it starts right there. This is my old Bible. It's just torn all to pieces. Oh, that's when Gog and Magog, right there, Gog and Magog. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. You know, NATO just had a meeting in Tubal, which is where, I don't know. You're not. It's not. It says, set thy face against Tubal. This is Ezekiel 38. And it says, set thy against Gog and Magog. We were just reading that. Okay? Gog and Magog. This is where they're going to gather Gog and Magog and all that stuff. That was in Revelation. That was the devil. Set thy face against Gog, Magog, and Tubal. All right, listen. That's Magog. That's Tubal. And that place right now is called Turkey, okay? So that's where the 7 churches of the apocalypse are in the beginning of the book of Revelation. That's where all 7 churches are, right there in Turkey, which is Tubal and that Magog part right there. That's where it was. And that's where the NATO meeting was, where the plane malfunctioned. And you know what's funny about it? In the Church of Pergamum, he wrote these on Revelation 2 and 3. He wrote all the 7 of the churches a letter. And Church of Pergamos right there, that's where Satan's seat is and where Satan's thoughts on the Antichrist rising from Turkey. Well, the Antichrist spirit is already in the world, and it says that a couple places in the Bible. So, but I know what you mean. Like, there's going to be somebody that's going to be very influential. And there are already some people that are very influential, man. Okay. I mean, there are billionaires, and there are some very influential people in this world that I don't know what side or what team they're on. Even when Joshua, he saw that angel, he goes like, "What team are you on? Are you for us or against us?" And he goes, "I'm not on either." So I'm not sure who the leaders of this world. If I had to pick where the leaders of this world and the billionaires and all that stuff, I personally would think that, what do you think about Istanbul? I personally would think that if I were one of the rest of the dead and I was released out of my incarceration after the 1,000 years are finished, just like it says in the book of Revelation, I would pick somebody like the Biltmore house to live in, or I would be like a billionaire, or I would own like BlackRock or something like that. When I think about Istanbul, Istanbul was Constantinople. Constantinople is where Constantine went after he gave the endowment of Rome. So Constantine gave away the entire Roman Empire to the church, made all of his boys bishops and popes and stuff like that, and then gave that away. That became the biggest crime of the century because it was a forgery. And the endowment of Rome was where Constantine gave them all of the Roman Empire, hooked up all of his boys, made them bishops all over the place, and then he went to Constantinople, and that place evolved into this Istanbul and what have you. But he became a shipping magnate in Constantinople, and he sold the farm, and he built the St. Peter's Basilica, and he's the one that started all this, crap. He's a triple turd head. He's like a turd head, and then he got third. The Ottoman Empire, yeah, man. And they were in charge of, like the Dome of the Rock, that place with the Dome of the Rock and all that stuff, man. There's a foundation stone underneath the Dome of the Rock. And they call it a foundation stone because normally stones like that are at the bottom of the mountain. They're like going, but it doesn't belong there. It's unindigenous, and you can read in, is it Isaiah, where it says a stone placed not by human hands? I'm like going, that rock right there is the foundation stone. David with his feet of brass and iron. Shut up. He built that fence around Milo and all that stuff, brass and iron, couldn't even number it. Don't want me to go off. City in Turkey that is beautiful. You know what else too about Istanbul and Constantinople and all that stuff? Pergamum was right there. It's right there. Pergamum is right there, and that's where the red basilica was, and the Church of Pergamum, and inside, under the floor, under the altar, in the middle of St. Peter's Basilica is a piece of a red wall, and it's called the Red Wall. It's under the necropolis. And I don't know, man. That just happens to be where Satan's seat is. They got like the threshold of the church right there underneath it's the threshold of the altar. I know it is. It's right there in middle of Punky Brewster's place. Dude, right here. It's my house. That's my house, man. I love the dragons, man. Yeah, let's keep the dragons. They're so cool. If I had just had one more dragon, I would put it right there in the middle of St. Peter's Basilica. Why? Well, it says not to build stairs up to your altar. There's the stairs up to the altar. It says do not have an altar of smooth stones. That's as smooth as a baby's butt right there. What a bunch of history in that last photo. Which one? But there's that's the 13th commandment. Do not build stairs up to your altar. And everybody's like going, the 13th commandment. I'm like, yeah, man. There's 13 commandments. Well, because boy was still talking. Exodus 20, these are the first 10 right here. Exodus 20, just follow through. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't covet thy neighbor's wife right there. That's number 10. Okay, we're still in Exodus 20. These are the verses right in a row. Boy's still talking, man. Bam. Right here. Commandment number 11, you should not make gods out of silver and gold. Commandment number 12, if thou shalt make an altar of stone, thou shalt not build an altar of hewn stone. For if thou lift up a tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. And then commandment number 13, and neither shalt thou go up steps to mine altar, so that thy nakedness can be discovered. So don't make silver and gold idols. Solomon, he did that with the winged angels right over his Holy of Holies. And then he had stairs going up to the altar. And then King of Tyre, they chiseled the altar and made it of smooth stone. And then Double Billy Dumbwagon right here, this guy right here, he never, ever walked out into St. Peter's Basilica and went, all right, I'm trying to get past all the dragons here, but are there steps up to the altar? Yeah. And is it of smooth stone? Yeah. Is that a dragon face right there? Yeah. Does it say thou shalt not cover thy head? Yes. Does it say thou shalt not call no man father, whatever his name is? Yes. Gosh, do you read the book? I read all of the commandments until it got to the part where we were actually doing some of them, and then we left them off. So we didn't write down 11, 12, and 13. Because we all had steps. Solomon had steps. We had steps. Why do you think you... I don't know. Because you know, it says those that say they are Jews and are not, they are of the synagogue of Satan. I guarantee you that was the only religion back then. Those that say they are Christians and are not, they are of the synagogue of Satan. If you're sitting there talking and trying to lead me down the road and deceive me, you're a piece of crap. I mean, I'm sorry, you're in the synagogue of Satan. It's the holy way. Say it the holy way. Wonder what the black eye. Oh, it says if you leave me, if you go away from me, somebody print that scripture up there. If you go away from me, I will give you a black eye. It says that in the Bible. That those that turn away from me, I will give black in their right eye. I know. Billy! Billy, you got a black right eye? You stupid. What's this say? Oh, yeah. Did he not give you the 10 commandments written with the fiery finger of God, which actually there's 13, where it says, thou shalt not kill, yet you still go about to kill me? That's because he and the Levite priest wrote in the book of Leviticus that there was about 30 different ways that I could do something wrong, that you could kill me. But God didn't write that crap. You and the Levite priest, while y'all were wandering around in the desert for 40 years, wrote all that 30 reasons that you could kill me. But Jesus Christ said, did not Moses give you the law? And yet none of you idiots read it. You keepeth the law. Why go ye about to kill me? Because it said, thou shalt not kill. You're not. And it says, and if you don't read the law of Moses right here, how are you going to read the law of God right here? Read that verse right there, John 5:45 through 47. Do not think that I will accurse you to the Father. There is one that accurses you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For ye have believed in Moses, and ye will not. I can't read that because of the pinned comment. Luke 18:5. I love it. High Country John, Luke 18:5. That's one of my guys right there, man. One of my guys. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, 18:5. Yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by the continual coming she weary me. That's Luke 18:5. There's a pit always on fire as well. Yeah, maybe where the angels fell of the crate. I'm going to tell you something. David talks about going down into the pit, and though he goes down into the pit, and his father and his mother both hate him, and of course his mama was, well, Ruth, she was a Moabite, and that was his grandmama. They're never supposed to enter the temple or any of that stuff, man. So I don't know. David, he was ruddy. He was red. That means red. He was a ginger. The devil's red. The Red Army. Where did they get crucifixion from? David wrote all about it in 22nd Psalm. He wrote all about it. Julius Caesar told the pirates when they abducted him way before Jesus was here and said, I'm going to crucify you. This was a Roman thing, man. This was a Roman, and the only way the Jewish people could have stoned Jesus if they would have really wanted to, and the Roman people wouldn't have said crap. But the 22nd Psalm said you got to put and pin his hands and pin his feet. And Zechariah 11:17. Zechariah 11:17. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. There's a bunch of people with a blackened right eye. And who was it? The other little billionaire boy. I think I have a picture of him. Put on my glasses to see that. Billy. I call all these people Billy and all that stuff just to keep from saying their names because they get pissed off, and they we know who runs the app. I don't want to. Please don't fire me. I'm going through some pictures right now, honey. I'll read it in just 1 second. I'm trying to find one other picture. It's right up here, and I will read. Please keep it pinned up. Read it in just 1 second. I'm trying to find one other picture. It's right up here, and I will read. Please keep it pinned up there. If you don't mind, I'm looking for a picture, and I'm not on that screen yet. There's one more right eye club dude. Man, I had a picture of it right up here. Panko. I want to say how much I appreciate him. Panko. I want to say how much I appreciate him for some knowledge. Shadow, I love you. I love you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love you. You know Milli Vanilli. I didn't sing that. I do sing. You don't have to pay me to sing. Dude's got his right eye, man. Him and Papa John. Papa John. Yeah, I think anybody that's like, have y'all seen that obelisk that I've got in my backyard? Like him and the president are both like, we both have a big dome. Don't you have a big dome? Yeah, at the other end of the mall. Yeah, and then right in the middle of the mall, you have an obelisk. Yeah. Okay, so you've got a dome and an obelisk? Yeah, me too, me too, me too. We have a dome and an obelisk. What does that mean? Oh, that's the womb of Osiris and the phallus of one of those other idiots over there. You mean y'all have a white marble phallus of in the? It's a Washington Monument. It's a phallus. Yes, we have the largest phallus. We had the largest one. That's right. We're in America. We had the biggest pyramid. It's not a pyramid, Billy. What is it? It's an obelisk. And it's a completely Egyptian thing. We got the coolest one, biggest, beautiful, most beautiful one. It's the coolest obelisk in the whole wide world. That's right. That's right. I would keep that. You keep your dragons. I'll keep my obelisk. You shut up. You keep your obelisk. What's your obelisk held up on? 4 lions. He did. He thinks it's funny. He thinks that crap's hilarious. And what I'm going to do is like going, y'all have obelisks and we have dragons all over the place. And you're like going, okay, so we're the Masons and y'all are the church. Because when the church and the Masons split, the year that the church and the Masons split, you go back and tell you right now, that's exactly the year that Georgia, the 13th colony, was founded. So that they said, hey, James Edward Oglethorpe, the founder of Georgia, the colony for King George, and John Wright Jones, I think it was, the dude that owns Wormslow. They were both Freemasons. They came over the year they got discommunicated and separated from the church. They opened the 13th colony. There were no lawyers allowed. If you brought a hooker with you, you could come over for free or something like that. And they just cleaned up the whole thing. And they put a little border between the Spaniards and the Queen Carolinas. And they let the Georgia rednecks just be a dispensable fortress. So Georgia was a fortress to protect the states from the Spanish invasion, and they built the Savannah thing as a fort, and it has no documented tunnels, but its sister city in Charleston, South Carolina, it has 17 miles of documented tunnels. So them rednecks are not telling us a lot of crap. What's your Facebook page? It's got like 14,000 people on it, and it says my name. Says Gleg Bonner. It does. You tell him your name. I was right there on my Facebook page and right there. And that's one of my codexes. And if you haven't got a codex yet, you're going to want to get one of these things. That's what me and my son, we actually, make them. And he's big enough, man. He's 30 years old. I don't hit him with anything. And he says he loves what he does. And I said, if we can get somebody to help us print it. He's like, I love what I do. And no, my Bible is a Dewey and Rames, 1582. And it is the only Apocrypha Bible. It is, it's the Dewey and Rames 1582 Apocrypha Bible. It's 5 inches thick. And then we'll put your stuff on it, gild it, and I don't want to mess this Bible up. But it's a 1582 Dewey and Rames. This is a 1582 Dewey and Rames Bible. It's the same Dewey and Rames right there. This Bible from the rednecks that brought you in making Bibles. That's right. So that's right. But my Bible is so much cooler than that Bible because there's not one picture of Pope, nothing in there. It's not. What AJ was talking to me, and this is my codex. And out of all the things, I love this piece of work the best. The codex is probably my favorite piece of work. It's got enough room in it and the straps to where you could put a whole nother book in here. These are all hand bound by me and my son right here. And we were just reading the lesson in Jubilees. And every one of the pages in the book of Jubilees are going to be illustrated. And then it goes right into the book of Enoch. And you can read the words of the blessing of Enoch. And let me read the first chapter and the first verses of the book of Enoch. I just got a notification. What did I miss? Are we the chosen land? No, I think we've got like ringside seats, man. I think that when the fire descends into Jerusalem and destroys the holy city of Jerusalem, I think we get to watch all of that. Do y'all want me to read the very first chapter in the first book in the book of Enoch? I highlighted this one page right here. Yeah, I ship them to New Zealand. You would be the fourth one that shipped to New Zealand. And man, we've sent several to Australia, Ireland, Scotland, England, and we don't charge any more, but every one of those people asked us what the shipping was, and they paid the difference. And so I appreciate that, but it's too much to keep up with how much does it cost. It's expensive to send them there, but it's not terrible. And yes, we've shipped these all over the world to several different places in Australia, Europe, Canada, man, all over the place. Chapter 1 of the book of Enoch, which is the second book in the Codex, that's the book of Jubilees. This is the book of Enoch right here. And the first words in this are just awesome. The words of the blessing of Enoch. These are the words of the blessing spoken by Enoch, the seventh from Adam, which he blessed and praised and affirmed with divine favor. The elect, chosen ones, the righteous, those who walk uprightly before God, who will be alive and enduring in the days of the great tribulation and great distress, the times of affliction, testing, and judgment, when all the wicked, morally lawless, and the godless, those who reject and defy God, will be removed, separated, and brought to judgment. Right there. And that is the first words. And you can see that it says the same thing in the Bible, and it also references right here in the book of Jude. So you can see how I've implanted this and put the pictures, Revelation. What'd I do?
Nothing. He was just barking and barking and barking at me and brought me in here. I thought he wanted to go outside, so I wanted to check. Is there, you feel good?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. We getting ready to wrap it up. It's 10 o'clock. In about 45 minutes, Greg's face has been frozen. I can hear him. Really? Am I frozen with anybody else too?
Just swipe out and swipe back in.
Yeah, maybe go out and come back in. Yeah, Arla, come here. Come here, man. Dad. Hey, Dad Diesel. My mama said it was 10 o'clock, Dad. It was past my bedtime, and she said to take Kodak, Dad. No, Kodak kiss me, Dad. Ha, ha, ha. Uh-oh. I'm a cute. He probably, if we had all I need is a pet squirrel. That would be his best friend. If y'all haven't downloaded the study guide, please do. The Revelations chapter 20, it'll tell you what seal we're on. It'll tell you what's affecting the world and how all of those things are integrated into that document. Man, I'm telling you something. That's a really cool thing. And it's right. Let me show you. Let me breeze through it real quick. Revelation chapter 20 is broken down verse by verse, and every time it talks about the angel, it tells you who it was. And the other verses that are relevant. And all of the beheaded witnesses, it tells you right here who they were. And the artwork and the graphics that go with it. And in each instance, it talks about when the earth did quake and the rocks rent. All of this is all Revelation chapter 20. And it's a free print off for you to go print this thing off and download it, study it this weekend. If you go to my bio page right there and then click on my link tree, it's going to be the study guide right there. That's chapter 15, what we just read. And then there's Revelation chapter 20. And that's those are both free print off. If you want me to bind all of that together for you and print it in leather and put it into one of those codexes, click on that button right there and I'll make you one of these codexes right there for you. Me and my son make that and the 1582 Apocrypha Bible. If you click on that big give and send me a postcard like these other just a few people did, next week we're going to give away one of these Bibles right here. So click on the big give, register to win the big Bible. We're going to give away a 1582 Apocrypha Bible. And you have to be present to win. So just right now, there's 4 people that are going to be held into that contest. So send me a postcard, click on the big give, and let's do that. Download your study guide. Chapter 15 is super awesome of the Book of Jubilees. You can print them out. It's got all the study guides and time charts that you can go along with it and to help read the lesson. And then I'm going to tell you, the book of Revelation, the chapter 20 thing, that's a great thing to just read through yourself. We talk about it all the time. And join us Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we'll go through this whole thing again together. And I'll read the Dead Sea Scrolls with you. So please share this out to your friends. Let them print this stuff out. You print it out, and let's enjoy the Sabbath together. That's going to be Saturday. So start getting your stuff together the day before. Gather enough for you so that we can enjoy the rest that we find in Him together on the Sabbath. Because that's what this is all about, is resting and enjoying our life in Him and the rest that we receive in Him. That's it. Hebrews chapter 4. If you want to read about the rest that I find in the Lord Jesus Christ, and if you want to find out what I get most out of this, read Hebrews chapter 4. I rest in Him. He watches me while I sleep. I don't toss and turn. I don't dream. I don't do anything. I sleep like a baby. And if you read Hebrews chapter 4, I'm going to tell you something. You'll sleep like a baby too, because you'll know who's watching you. Come get one of the codexes. Me and AJ would love to build one for you. I'd love to build you one of those big Bibles. You know where all that stuff is on my Linktree page. Me and Arlo, he'll help me. He's a bad dog. He's so bad. Here, bark again if you're bad. There it is. He's bad. We know he's bad. Thank you so much. I certainly appreciate it. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern and every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Go download the study guides and let's read this together. You know I love y'all. And in Jesus' name, y'all have a blessed day. Touch your butt.